HITECH Act requires covered entities, business associates, and subcontractors to sign BA contracts. BA contracts are governed by 2 sections of the Privacy Rule and 2 sections of the Security Rule. The General Rule says BA contracts must comply with privacy and security rules. The requirement for BA contracts is an administrative safeguard. A covered entity or a BA must obtain satisfactory assurances that the other party will appropriately safeguard PHI. If a covered entity knows, or if a business associate knows, of a pattern of activity or practice that constitutes a material breach or violation of the contract, the provider or BA must take reasonable steps to cure the breach or end the violation. If the problem can't be cured, the BA contract must be terminated if feasible. A covered entity is not required to monitor or obtain satisfactory assurance from a BA's subcontractor. The same concept is reiterated in the Security Rule. The Security Rule also requires the BA contract to require the business associate to report security incidents and breaches of unsecured PHI to the provider. The Privacy Rule requires contracts to establish permitted uses and disclosures. The Security Rule has additional requirements for electronic PHI. A contract must establish provisions set forth in specifications A through J, and it must authorize termination if either party violates the contract. OCR has published instructions and template language for BA contracts. Now we'll examine BA contracts in the town of Single Peak. Hudson and Priscilla Pruitt's medical office is on the plaza across from the Chamber of Commerce. The plaza dates back to the beginning of Single Peak. The Chamber of Commerce building was the old Masonic Lodge. The Pruitt's office was originally a pharmacy. When the previous owner retired, he left a lot of medical equipment and prescription records in the attic. Pete was sorting through all of these relics when he and Hudson had a falling out. Pete eventually resigned his job as privacy officer and decided to take another job. He went to the other side of the plaza to work for his friend Computer Guy, repairing laptops and working in the recycling business. Eventually, he made up with Hudson and Priscilla, and then he helped them move some old computers over to Guy's place.
Hudson, I just finished recycling your old computers. Do you want me to continue working on the attic?
Yes, but since you're not my employee anymore, we need a business associate contract.
Sure, I could prepare the agreement. OCR has posted a new template specifically for BA contracts. First, we need to make a list of permitted disclosures.
Should recycling be on the list?
Yes, recycling is a form of electronic PHI disclosure.
Should the contract specify security safeguards?
Yes, the OCR template provides that the BA must use appropriate safeguards with respect to electronic PHI.
Do you know what safeguards are appropriate?
Yes, the National Association for Information Destruction has industry standards for electronic PHI. They publish a website called Proper PHI Disposal. We can specify NAID standards in our contract.
And what about paper records?
Records in the attic can be shredded or incinerated. But some of the business records are valuable relics. I told the History Club you might donate some of the older records for their display case. The new privacy rule excludes PHI concerning persons deceased more than 50 years. For example, we could display medicinal whiskey prescriptions from the Prohibition era.
Are you going to donate your time to verify dates of death?
No, but I recruited some volunteers to classify records as PHI or non-PHI. Docents of the museum will sign BA contracts as subcontractors.
What about breach reporting?
The BA contract will make me responsible for breach reporting. The subcontractor contract will specify that no PHI should be removed from the office. If you agree, I would be happy to prepare the BA contracts.
Thanks, Pete. I like that idea.
Business associates are required to sign BA contracts to safeguard use and disclosure of protected health information. The contract should also determine how and when PHI is returned to the covered entity or destroyed. Thanks for watching. We have more tutorials coming. Thank you in advance for comments and suggestions.